I don't want to out us as saying we were bad at security, but we were kind of bad at security before you guys came on. I think that, as a whole, I think I mentioned this earlier, but the AEC industry, the architecture, engineering, contracting community, we were lagging behind as an industry on security measures. We're not like the banking industry or some of the other industries out there that are really, implementing a lot of security features. We're a little slow to adopt. But I think that LBMC coming on, assessing our entire environment, letting us know where they saw holes, and really kind of with a gentle but firm hand guiding us to making the decision to add MFA on several applications, and then most recently VPN, has really been super beneficial for us. I think that we probably are slower than a lot of other clients to adopt those things. But, we have seen other architecture firms deal with ransom, and, being in the service industry, we're very dependent on our billable hours with our clients. So we really can't lose a day of service. So being prepared and having kind of that first line of defense really gives us a little bit more peace of mind that we're being protected. This is a very timely question. So we have decided that this is the year that we are really going to document disaster recovery. So there's an organization called the AIA, which is a regulatory organization for architects, and they put out a document that's about 90 pages. It's very thick, and it is a business continuation and disaster recovery planning document, and it's specific to our industry, which is super helpful. And Dave and I have been talking about doing disaster recovery planning and getting that on the books. And there were some interesting stats that about 60% of architecture firms our size already had this in place. And so that was a little eye-opening for us. So a lot of what we've been talking about is risks, what those risks are, identifying those specifically for us as an industry, being in the AEC industry, also for us in our physical location. And we've been spending a lot of time looking at those. And of course, cyber attacks is at the top of that list. As far as risks go, no matter what the risk is for us, I know I've mentioned this previously, being in the service industry, relying on those billable hours, we've done some calculations to see what it would cost our firm to be down for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and understand what that impact would be. So I think regardless of the risk, we know that there are some mitigation procedures that we could do now and put in place that would keep us from having to feel that kind of financial pinch. A lot of what you guys did when you came on board was look at our backups and how we were backing up, where we were backing up, how much we were backing up, how often we were backing up. And for us, those types of things are very critical in a billable industry to be able to get our data back. Because we were on premise, that brings its, a whole different set of factors as far as backup and being able to restore from various locations. And so I think for us, no matter the risk, the biggest thing is getting back to business quickly. So I think collaboration for us starts with Dave at CIO position. We spend a lot of time talking through the what ifs, those negative what ifs, those positive what ifs, and going down a lot of those roads together. Again, we're talking about those things together. He's bringing things up, I'm bringing things up. We're coming to the table and working through those solutions together. It's, sometimes Dave has to bring the firm hand and say, point a finger at security and say, we've got to do this for these number of reasons. But at the end of the day, we're always working towards those goals together. And then Terry coming on site as our account manager, we spend a lot of time in our weekly meetings making sure that we're on track to reaching those short-term goals or making sure that our projects are staying on track. We're in constant communication. There's not something happening in our office that I don't know about that LBMC is working on. And same, if something's happening, he's aware of it. So I think that for Terry and I, daily communication or every few day communication has been very key. And we definitely work well together. And then for the help desk, kind of like that other level of interaction that we have with LBMC. Again, calling up help desk, it's always, hey, Christina, how are you doing? It's always, a helping hand, great attitude. There's, if there's a challenge that I'm frustrated with, it's like, well, okay, let's get into it. Let's see what's happening. I've never gotten a no or a, I can't do that, or it's always a let's see what we can do, and we're doing that together. I think another great thing that I've experienced with help desk is if you want to learn and you want to know why and you want to know the what and the who and the how, they're more than willing to impart some knowledge and share that knowledge with you. There are a lot of things coming from, my background is architecture. I'm learning a lot of the technology. And so there are a lot of things that I ask questions about, and it's always met with a patient answer, which is much appreciated because I'm still learning. And so I think that for me is one of the great things about working specifically with help desk and with Terry so frequently is that, I'm able to learn and I'm able to learn from you guys. I think education before implementation is a big part of that particular challenge for us. I think that architecture in general, it's a creative industry. It's not built on numbers like banking. It's very much like a collection of artists, and we are analytical thinkers, but we're not like a bank. And I would say technology for architecture is also lagging behind as an industry. We've seen a huge explosion of growth in that area as far as programs and software that we use. And that's happened in the last, I would say, 10 years or so. So I think just the idea that technology, that we would need to be protecting our technology is maybe a little different than other industries. Everybody thinks of an architect as somebody sitting there drawing on a piece of paper. We're doing the same things these days. We're just doing it in a computer. So, our thinking has to come along a little bit in that sense. As we kind of see those programs grow, we see our data living in cloud environments, as we see all of those things moving to a more digitized environment, we're definitely seeing that need. And I think that for us as an industry, it is just education and understanding why we need to do those things.